Welcome back to the Nostalgia Podcast.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, we like to reminisce on the good times. We talk about things that were good in
The
the past.
old times.
How do you guys feel? Do you guys feel old?
Maybe.
I feel incredibly old.
All right, before we start, I would like to.
This is William's interjection. All right.
I would like to do something. Danny has put up the platinum tier, $150. Do an event with us. Sign up with that.
I don't know. $150. You better make sure it's worth it, William.
It's hanging out with us.
What are you promising for $150, William?
All right. It's either you get option A, roast duck movie night.
Okay.
Option B, dim sum breakfast.
There better be like caviar involved. You know what I mean?
Dim sum, no caviar.
When you say roast duck chicken night, have you done any of the
Roast
legwork?
duck chicken there's no roast duck chicken. It's roast duck.
Okay, fair enough.
Have you had like roast duck and rice?
No.
It's like a classic.
No, you don't eat rice. You just eat roast duck.
So are we going somewhere where they're already serving that?
Yeah.
We just
Okay.
take away. We're gonna watch TV here, right here. Look at it too.
Yeah, so it's like classic takeaway, come
Where-
back, watch a movie.
Where are you going to order it from?
Will, don't worry about that.
So have you done any homework on this? Or you just
I can
making
go
wild
to
claims?
my usual place.
Oh, William knows a guy.
He knows a guy.
He's got a phone book.
He's got a duck guy.
Duck guy. All right, $150.
All right, fair
Sign
enough.
up. All right, that's it.
So talking about the past, talking about food in the
Sign up.
past. I know Spudge has recently brought back the dirt dessert, which is very exciting. Today we've all had the dirt dessert. What is the verdict?
Now, William, have you had one before?
No,
First time.
So out of 10, what are you giving it?
tree.
Damn, he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Doesn't like it. It's just I like
he's
the
not
bottom
Western
part.
Australian enough.
Yeah.
I like the bottom part.
The
I'll
cookie.
give the bottom part 8, but the top part 2.
Ooh, not a pudding
I
guy.
saw a comment on in the chat, Triple R, saying that it's the cookie's bottom is actually it's different from what it used to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I like the
it's-
bottom part though.
It's not. I don't think overall it's as good as it used to be.
It's hard because I had dirt desserts when I was in year probably 5. My memory is super sketchy from that past.
Oh, okay.
So my take on it is that as an adult, I'm like, it's all right. It's
Yeah,
like, it's
I
like
think so
yogurt
too.
in like a biscuit or a bit of fudge or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you give that to a kid, I reckon they'll like it.
Is it a classic case of maybe it should have stayed in history and recollected it better than what it actually is?
To be honest, if this dessert compared to Oreo's McFlurry, Oreo's McFlurry
Oreo
wins.
McFlurry is
Have you guys had the Kit Kat Storm at Hungry Jack's?
No, is it good?
Yeah, I think it's tits.
Okay.
And you know what's hell good? You go at the moment KFC is doing deep fried cookie dough.
Yeah.
So you go to KFC and you buy the deep fried cookie dough and then you put it in the Kit Kat Storm from Hungry Jack's. Next level.
$150 platinum tier.
It's like
by Danny.
Straight up diabetes in a cup, but
Speaking about diabetes in a cup, McDonald's. I mean, a lot of things can be diabetes in a cup, but McDonald's had there recently. They had the banana caramel apple pies.
I think
They
it was
were
also
pretty
pretty good
good. You can
I
also have it.
I haven't had McDonald's since February.
Boy, if they still have it, you got to get that banana caramel apple pie.
Because like
the pies are pretty good.
I cut out like fast food from my diet. It's
good.
And
It means you won't have gout like I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working out and then I just didn't.
William said he was working out, but earlier he just scoffed an entire
Because I
bag
didn't eat
of
dinner.
Twisties.
Yeah.
That's my dinner.
He also ate M&M's
Yeah, that's my dinner.
and a yogurt dessert.
Classic
I
Malaysian cuisine, man.
I
Twisties and M&Ms.
calculated calories. It's all right. It's all right.
Is
I
it?
can- Yeah, it's all right.
Well, there's enough calories there that you shouldn't have eaten the entire day.
I think that one M&M bag
that's
might be
alright.
like your daily dose of survival.
100%.
Wasn't it in the
No, it's like
wars?
400, just 400, like 300 calories there.
Oh.
Are you
yeah,
sure?
Yeah, I
Are
calculated.
you-
Yeah, I always do calculate.
M&Ms were like a war ration. They were originally designed to be chocolate they gave to soldiers because the coating meant it wouldn't melt.
Oh,
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
Don't fact check me, but I'm fairly certain M&Ms were
Space
originally.
Marine food.
We're going to call it Kang's Cannon, which can be just, it means anything, right?
My cannon could be anything I want. You know?
Okay.
In my cannon, I have
Interesting.
the power of telekinesis.
Yeah.
So there
Love
you
it.
go.
Okay. So what is the nostalgia about today?
Look at that. All right. So, not necessarily nostalgia, but we
Okay.
do talk about things that we enjoy a lot because you're here to listen to us ramble. So I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
get you guys to ramble even more about things. Following suit with ongoing internet trends and me being unoriginal, we're going to follow whatever's happening on TikTok. What's happening on TikTok and Instagram right now is really popular. It's called tier lists. Effectively,
Oh, tier list.
it's like a 1 to 6 thing, right? Where you have to rate things based on 1 to 6 for yourself. I've made one for both you, Danny, and one for you, William.
Okay.
The way this works is I will list off a thing and you have to rate it between 1 being like the best thing for you. 6 being the on the bottom of the list,
Right.
and you can't change the ordering.
Okay.
So the way the
okay.
order in which you feed them to us is important.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
So you have to kind of. It's a game.
Is it
you play.
random how you go? Or have
I've
you,
seen
or have
it
you designed it?
slightly. So
Okay.
you have to just be aware, right?
Okay,
Interesting.
okay.
All right. But I want you guys to know, this is for you. So like how much this matters to you or how much you enjoy it. So let's start with Danny first because Danny was
Well,
the easy one.
have you seen these tier listings before?
Yeah. I did it for like One Piece decks and stuff.
Interesting. Because I've only ever seen it one time before, and because I'm an old man, I watch my TikToks as Instagram reels, so that's how I consume this.
Right.
And the one thing I saw it for was the guy had done different foods mixed together, and it was like hot dogs and broccoli. And it was like that. So this is the only that's the only like version of this thing I've seen it in. So I'm excited to see Kang's version.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it was a lot easier for me to make a list with Danny because Danny's very open with things he likes, and for William, I had to go through.
That's how
Facebook
it came
history.
for. I talked too much shit.
I had to dig through like William's Facebook to be like, there we go. There's a thing.
Okay.
Go.
William's Facebook that he hasn't accepted me as a friend on.
Yeah, you have
heads up.
621 Facebook friends minus 1 Danny.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go find Danny and add him out. Okay. Right.
It's such a chore for him.
I feel
right?
so insulted. Yeah.
He's got so many friends in his DMs.
And then it would just be adding, and William adds me, and then I ignore him forever. Just like every other poor person who messages me on Facebook.
Cool. Like I said, 1 to 6, and you can't change the ordering once you put it there as well. So once you, like I say, you put hot dogs number 1, and I give you pizza, you can't be like, oh no, I'll put pizza number 1. No, you
Okay.
put it number 1. You can't change it anymore.
Before we move on, I forget. That is one massive perk to being a Patreon. I do check the Patreon Facebook Messenger that we have a group chat in, which we talk about in. And in there, you can then tag me and be like, hey, check my message that I sent you. And I do go back and then check your messages from there because it's a reminder to me. Subscribe, and I'll reply.
If you
promise.
sign up for the platinum tier, Danny will personally call you.
Sure, I call them. I'm driving around the truck all the time. I'll call you in chat.
we did have a lot of people come through for the M&Ms last time. The
Yeah,
platypus M&Ms. That
nice.
worked out. So,
Good job, guys.
yeah. No one really came for stickers. No one wanted to use stickers with him.
Oh, really? Sad.
Well, I think we made that confusing because Russ, who does listen, he asked about what the prize was the next week, and I was like, I don't remember actually.
All right. Starting with you, Danny.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, 1 to 6. First up, Magic the Gathering. So, I guess this list is how much do you like this thing or how much it matters to you? Magic the Gathering.
Solid out of 6, right?
Out of 6.
We'll give it a 4.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So, below average.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, because you've tempered me now. I've got to be prepared.
You gotta
what's going
be
to go
prepared?
on. Like I'm real into
But
Magic.
what if I'm getting you and all the good stuff's in the beginning?
Well, I guess I'm fucked then, really.
Yeah. All right. So
I'm
number
in it for the
4,
game. Yeah.
You like Magic.
Yeah.
Just the game.
Yeah, a lot. I like it a lot.
So where would you put Magic the Gathering on the second one, which is Warhammer? That's Warhammer in total. So like fantasy, sci-fi, all that. Where would you put Warhammer on the list?
As long as my child's on this, I'm comfortable with it going to a number 1. So it's my number 1. Warhammer is my number 1 thing, I think.
Okay, so Warhammer is so we're confident.
I'm pretty confident.
Second
yeah.
item on the list.
I've read
Warhammer number 1.
I've invested a lot of my entire life,
Fair.
including this building we're sitting in, into
That
the
is
love of
true.
Warhammer.
That is
Okay.
true.
And even though Magic comes alongside it, Warhammer was my first true love.
Okay.
That's fair. That's reasonable because like I kind of provide that Magic the Gathering thing going on. You do a lot more the Warhammer thing.
Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
good dynamic. All right, cool. Solid confidence. Warhammer number 1. Number 4 is Magic the Gathering. All right. So the third item on the list is Lord of the Rings.
Got him. Instantly fucked.
Number 2.
I was thinking of like instantly I put it into like the list we're doing is clearly like activities I can do, not like more of a holistic view. So
No.
There's a lesson there
the
for you, William.
The wild card here. William's getting the cheaty because he can hear what happens to Warhammer. But this is it could be anything.
So as a side note to this Lord of the Rings thing, the other night we had a dodgy guy come through the shop at like 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And because the markets had just been broken into a couple of weeks before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they ransacked all the tills, right? They got like $700 out of our cash till. If you're listening to this, we don't keep cash in our till anymore, so don't fucking come rob Burger Boy, all right?
Also, I'm gonna let you finish your story.
Yeah.
But I came in the next morning and you were holding a hatchet.
Yeah, so that night I was, and then so because they broke into Burger Boy on a Saturday night, right? And
Right.
they raided all the cash tills in all the food vendors in
Yeah.
there. And
With
like,
great difficulty, mind you. The security in the market is insane.
yeah,
Dodging lasers and
It's
cameras.
been upgraded since, so just don't get any funny ideas. But they broke in through a window, smashed everything, got past security. It was a nightmare. But then, and that happened on a Saturday night. And the assumption is, for a place like that, you do a lot of trade on a Saturday, but you're going into Sunday. So people don't clear their tills out
Correct.
as thoroughly as they should do, including us, unfortunately. And that was a Saturday night. Then the next Saturday, I'm working. And then about 8, 9 o'clock-ish, a fella walks in, a little dodgy looking. And when I say a little, I mean very dodgy looking. And it was a weird time of night because most people don't just wander into that kind of time of night. Sometimes they'll come from Spud Shed, but it's not very common, you know?
Yeah.
So, and most people who are coming specifically to the place have come, you know, between that 6 and 7 mark because they'll come in for an event or to play a game. Most people aren't wandering in at 9 unless they...
Oh, he rocked up at nighttime.
Yes. So he rocked up.
So he wasn't just a regular pedestrian.
Yeah, not like didn't look like a hobbyist, didn't have any hobby things. And as he was walking around the room, I was like, "Oh, hey man, how you doing?" I'm friendly, trying to like communicate with people. I was like, "Hey man, how you doing? Do you need a hand?" And he's like, he said, he looks at me and he's like, "No, I'm just seeing what's here." And it's a really weird sentence rather than being like, "Oh, I'm just, you know, I haven't been here before." Most people, when they come down for the first time, they're like, "Oh, I haven't been to a place like this." Yeah. The conversation lines a little bit differently with like, "Oh, I'm looking at, you know, I played a bit of Warhammer," or they've been to Warhammer at Joondalup and they've been sent over here from there. It's a very different conversation. Yeah. And he's
it
just
sounds like he's taking a place.
Yeah,
out.
his sentence of "I'm just seeing what's here," but also not looking at any of the hobby stuff, just looking at like, I feel like he was looking at like the TV and the computer and shit. And I was like, this motherfucker's gonna come back and rob me. So I went home that night after finishing it like 10 o'clock. I kicked everyone out. I think me and Damo and a couple of boys played Commander. And then at the end of that, I went home and get my brother's swag. Bloody hell. And I brought the swag back and set it up in here. So I had like a little, actually, I actually have the photo. I can post it up on Instagram,
like a
right?
bed, right?
Yeah, like a little bed. And I got my bedding and stuff from my mum's house. And I set the bed up in the corner, actually right where you're sitting with now, Williams, where I slept that night. And
You slept here?
I slept on the floor with an axe. And I was like, if these crackheads come back to rob my shop, I'm going to fuck them up. I was like, not having a bar of it.
You know what you had? You had the classic fantasy that like I think most men have, which is like, if my property gets robbed, will I defend it?
The problem is, because I've been doing this a long time in a lot of shops, right? Once thieves get they think it's an easy mark, they'll come back.
Right.
They'll come back over and over and over again.
It feels like the dumbest thing to do, but I've seen it happen.
It's because if it was already easy to do in the first place, most people don't upgrade or anything from there on. Like they don't fix
What if
any
the
of
second
problems.
time round you got an old fella with a shotgun?
Oh, I don't know. It's an arms race. We're doing World War II, Cold War, right?
Cool.
But so there was a place in Malaga called like Pop Attack or something, right? And
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
They were
You used
rated.
to go to Pop Attack?
No. I saw that shop. Like they got like
It got
ram raided.
ram
right?
raided so many times the insurance wouldn't give them insurance anymore.
That's
They were
crazy.
like, whatever you're doing,
I wonder how
and
many
whatever
times.
you're holding there, 5 times it was.
That's so-
5 times over
Holy
about
shit.
a year and a half, 2 years. And they put in bollards and like roller shutters, and people just kept driving their cars through there. That's a big reason I have that chain across the front, because
Yeah.
it probably wouldn't stop a car, but the idea is you're trying to inhibit somebody just driving straight through the front of here, right? Anyway, this all comes back around because that night, recently we've got a Blu-ray player put into here. So what I did was I put in my Lord of the Rings and I watched the entire... I don't know why I'm doing this. Like I'm getting all
You're
croaky.
a little froggy in your throat.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I put out my Lord of the Rings Blu-rays that my nan bought me for my 18th birthday. Thank you, Nan.
nice,
and it's the extended editions, and it's on Blu-ray, right? But it's because the file is so big, it's on 2 Blu-ray discs.
Yeah.
And I stood up and watched the entirety of The Return of the King on Blu-ray, standing up before.
Wait, was the lights on?
Yeah, everything on.
Oh, I would a hell of a lot would love this scene if like there was in fact robbers and they came to just peek it and they just saw a guy who's just like in the dark watching Lord of the Rings with an axe in his hand, just standing inside.
If you've been to the club, you can see like you turn to like over there. There's the bookshelf that we have the like new products on, and there's a Space Marine thing. I basically stood against that, I leaned against it, and watched the Lord of the Rings movie. And I was like, I'll watch 10 minutes and I'll be fine. And then I'll just like go to bed and go to sleep, whatever. Instead of that, I watched an entire like 2-hour movie standing up. I don't know why didn't I sit down? What the fuck am I? It's a full ADHD mode to be like, oh, Lord of the Rings, and like. It's been a few years since I've
precious.
it's been a few years since I could sit there and watch the entire movie. And it's like with the new Blu-ray player and like the quality of the TV and the Blu-ray player being better than what I've had it before, it looked incredible. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. And instead of just sitting down, I just stood there the entire time and watched. So I was like,
Do you just revisit Lord of the Rings every now and again just to capture?
when Lucas was younger and I had much more free time. So before club, we're going to call like, you have like BCE. We're going to call this before club times, right?
What's the pre-heresy?
Yeah. Well, Lucas and I would watch the full 3 movies of the extended editions of Lord of the Rings once a month. We would set aside a weekend.
Once a month is proper regular.
Yeah, I've read the book once, like the Lord of the Rings books once
If
a
you
year.
sign up for 2 months straight platinum tier, we'll watch Lord of the Rings extended edition.
100% will do that.
You
I
committed for
promise.
9 hours.
Yeah. 2 months, yeah.
I've read the Lord of the Rings books every year since I fucking found them when I was like 9 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like we watch the movies with Lucas once a month, all 3 of them, just like the whole way through. So all the way back around, it's an unfortunate number 2 for Lord of the Rings. Kang was smart. He caught me out a little bit.
Nice.
So,
All right, so we got 1. I feel like the strategy is you got to keep that number 1 spot just in case, right?
even I feel the ADHD. Like I don't even feel super turned up today, but the 5-way story to get back to a number 2. That's really
It was a good
even
story.
I realize that.
Okay.
But touching back, the classic, like, this is like the stereotype of like the masculine trope of like what happens if like robbers trying to rob your property. Like, are you ready to defend it? You know how like in America you have dudes that just like keep their gun in their bed just in case.
That's how we had the discussion the other week about like the fighting Freddy versus Jason thing. Like, I think I could. I'd probably die in like 20 seconds, but in my mind, I'm prepared for the
There
situation.
was a great story of like some dude in America. He had those 2
Well,
robbers.
what happened to the tier list, bro?
We'll touch that real quick, but this is the
We've got
Northern
an hour and a
Boards-
half to feel like William. Shut
Yeah,
up.
this is the Northern Boards ADHD podcast, the Boardcast.
Okay.
So 2 robbers try to rob this guy's house. He fended his home off with a katana.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Was it that guy from the old videos from the 2000s where he was like chopping fruit in his yard and he had
I
a
hope
bowler
so.
hat on?
I hope so. Can you imagine? That guy was so ready. I bet, because if a person owns a katana,
Yeah,
right, and
yeah.
has it actually sharpened, he's ready for that day. He wants that day to happen, and he was so proud of himself on that news article when they were interviewing him. He was defending off like the dudes, and he pulled out his sword. He was talking about his sword and everything.
My granddad next to his front door, he had he was very British, my granddad, right? And he had this big flower pot, and it was maybe like about 1.5 meters long. And inside the flower pot you could see a silver handle sticking out the top of it.
Yeah.
And it was in there was a 2 meter French fencing sword.
He's
and it was
ready, dude.
It was sharp as fuck. Like if you touched it with your
yeah.
finger, your finger would cut open like it does with a knife. And he had that. So if you ever got attacked in his house, he would whip out this fencing sword. But it was like a 2 meters blade.
Yeah, but every day he's like, there's a part of his brain that's like any moment.
Oh,
now.
he's so keen to get robbed.
Any moment now. Because my dad was the same. My dad, even when we moved from Westminster to Darch, which is like a nicer suburb,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
more gentrified, and we don't need as much security. And also, you're unlike. Breaking and entering doesn't really happen in Perth, especially in the nicer suburbs.
Yeah, not in a. Usually, they know most breaking and enters happen in Australia where they've been there to the house before and they know there's something to steal.
Yeah.
That's most of them. So it's like usually involves drugs or like
Correct.
money that they know has been stored there in the meantime.
So my dad, not only did it wasn't just a baseball club that my dad kept in his bedroom, but he also put nails in it.
Yes, he did nail in a plank.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So he had a baseball bat with nails on it.
He was like Mo from The
Jeez.
Simpsons.
Yeah, he was so ready.
All right.
Did he ever just like take it out in the yard and like fuck up a tree just to prepare
No,
himself?
but I remember him showing me it in the yard, and he was quite proud of it. He was like, "Son,
Fuck
I
yeah.
made this for home defense."
I would be too.
As a kid, I was like,
Zombie.
Do you think that was just stood for you to know your place? Like,
I hope like
It's like, you naughty boy.
just
like,
in
he's not
case.
threatening you with it, but he's letting you know that he has these
My
abilities.
favorite part is that they stayed around for a while because we never obviously he just stayed in the cabinet for a long time, and over time the nails rusted. And in my head, it was like, yes, tetanus damage.
Yeah,
+1 to poison damage.
True.
that's hell funny.
Anyway, so your list so far is 1 is Warhammer, number 2 is Lord of the Rings, number 4 is Magic the Gathering. All right, number 4 on this here is going to be where would you place Kanye West? I know me and you, we do like our Kanye West music as well.
Big fan.
Big
It's not cool to like him at the moment, right? Or is
I can
Number 6.
listen.
it not that I'll let someone else's opinion influence what I like, but he's out of being cool at the moment. Is that right? I think so.
I don't know.
I think for the casual crowd,
Because-
maybe Kanye West has fallen out of favor.
Because
but-
I think he's been put into the media as like a crazy person.
yeah,
And I think the
But
thing
let's
really
say,
is like,
but this list is for you. So I'm talking like peak Kanye West. I'm talking just released Graduation, that 2008 Kanye West.
see, I'm not sure. Let's say I do make millions of dollars. How do I know I don't become that crazy person? Because I'm a crazy.
I know I will
I'm a
be.
crazy person now. I'm just poor.
I know I will be crazy. If I won $100 million Powerball, you know I'm doing crazy. I want to be like the Homer Simpson's episode when he like imagines himself winning a bunch of money. Yeah.
I listened to Graduation on repeat for probably 3 years of my life.
Yeah.
So
What's your favorite album of his?
it was definitely
This was a different tangent. This is separate.
it's definitely Graduation for the longest time.
Ooh, nice.
But now, I think over time I've converted back to College Dropout.
Yeah, it's hard not to say College Dropout #1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big fan of like the first 3. I could just listen to
That first
like,
trilogy, yeah.
like end to end of the album, especially at a time pre Spotify where you literally have. I own
Also,
the
this
discs.
is like all of our listeners just tuned off.
Sure, maybe.
Tear it.
Even William's looking a little bored.
Yeah, William's like Kanye West, don't care.
Like, what are you a Kanye West fan?
No.
Not at all.
No.
William listens to classical
I
music.
have to
remember?
like you slightly less than now, William.
I don't know. Like, you know, the only Kanye West music I was listening to like long ago was like Kanye West and what's her name? Like a Neo and Kanye West. And,
Oh, when he was doing all of the R&B.
Yeah.
That one.
He did some like I think the thing
That
is,
was nice.
That
He's
was when
also
he
an
first
incredible.
signed to Jay-Z. He
Yeah.
started doing a lot of R&B.
He's also like an incredible producer, right? So a lot of songs that you like, especially hip hop through the 2000s, if you liked it and it was good, there's not a bad chance that Kanye West was the producer.
For the
on there as
casual
well.
listeners that don't dive super far into hip hop and R&B, it's hard to really say how far Kanye West's reach has gone, because he almost every sound of the early 2000s was somewhat influenced by Kanye West.
Things like auto-tune and stuff like that, which were like hyper regulated, like regularized, brought into
Well, T-Pain really brought it into like fame, and I think Kanye West really brought it into the modern day audience, right? You have a lot of modern day people like Lil Uzi Vert and Travis Scott are influenced by.
But I've also
808s
heard
Heartbreak.
a podcast with T-Pain who said that Kanye West was doing it before him.
You're probably not wrong, because Kanye West is always mixing around with the voice, the sound of the voice.
Do you remember what came out first, Bartender or 808s?
Bartender?
It
I
did,
think.
did?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know.
My favorite is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Hey,
Interesting. So you're a little bit younger as well.
I'm a little bit younger, but also that album came out
I want to
when-
know what tier that Danny put this Kanye West in.
Well, let me finish. Hold on. So My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came around when like the whole world kind of was hating on Kanye West. He had the
Yeah,
whole Taylor
yeah.
Swift
Like
thing.
now?
Yeah, similar, but he kind of really isolated himself, and he came out with this absolute crazy album.
I think the Furor was definitely worse with the Taylor Swift thing.
Yeah,
right?
when he went on Alex Jones, that was when it was like, interesting. So
Tom was in yesterday playing Highlander. We do Highlander on Wednesday. If anyone's interested in playing Highlander on Wednesday, and he asked me. Tom's a bit of a hip hop guy, likes his
Yeah,
hip hop,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he
He
does a bit
likes
of rapping
his J Dilla,
himself.
yeah.
He asked me what my top four or five rappers are.
I'm
And
insulted. Tom's never asked me this.
interesting.
He's never been like, hey, what's your top 4?
Well, I think he felt bad because I was supposed to go. His nephew was having a 2-year-old birthday, and I was supposed to take my truck there to show his 2-year-old nephew a truck because he's like excited about trucks, and I forgot about it. So
Oh,
I felt real bad about that. And
Did you promise him?
I told Tom I would go.
Oh,
And
you
then
promised him.
I just forgot when it was. And then so when he came in, he was talking about something, and then I mentioned something about Lucas, and then we're talking about kids. And then I was like, "Oh fuck, when's that thing for your nephew?" And he was like, "Yesterday." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So I'm gonna make it up to him. He didn't promise. Tom didn't tell his nephew that it was gonna happen.
Okay. So you didn't crush a poor
I
young
didn't crush a
child's
2-year-old
dream.
on his
Okay.
birthday. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there on a weekend and take the truck around, and like I can let him touch the crane handle, and I just turn that crane handle off so I can make it look like he's using it, even though I'm pressing it from another side. Cool. So I'm going to do that. Anyway, he asked me what my top 4 or 5 rappers are. And I was like, for anyone who's into hip hop, I was like, Andre 3000 is my number 1 for sure.
Fantastic choice.
Then
Very artistic
like,
guy.
MF Doom, big fan. And then like,
influential.
I said, like Killer Mike, a big fan of them as well. And then like J. Cole was mine. But I in that 5 was Kanye West. And he's like, Kanye West isn't really a rapper though. And I was like, that's true.
I actually disagree with that, because I think obviously Kanye West is always more known for being a producer, but he's made big strides to try and prove himself as a rapper.
But is it rap or is it hip hop?
I mean, it can be the same.
Yeah, it can be.
Hip hop is a bigger umbrella, but he is rapping in a lot of songs.
True.
What is hip hop and what is rap?
I think rap is more hip hop is more like
Rapping is the style of singing. Hip hop is the style of music.
yeah. I think
okay.
I feel like a rap song like Eminem raps, but he doesn't do hip hop. You know what I mean? It's more about like is this a dancey kind of track that goes on the radio, or is this like proper rap?
Right. So it's like a romantic thing with
I think
rap.
while I don't consider Kanye West a top class rapper, he is a top class producer, right? But I think he's still categorized as a rapper.
Like drill music, which is very popular now. That's like very hardcore, like gangstery stuff. That's rap, but it's not hip hop because it's not. There's no good beat.
It's
behind
tricky
it.
because I'll still classify it as hip hop.
True.
The music evolves, right?
I'm also an old man. Number 5.
Number 5.
I'm going to
Kanye
save that
West.
spot for that third spot.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Wait, what about spots have I got left? Have you written it down?
You have no. I haven't written it. Oh, I should write it down. I even brought a pen and pad. So we have number 1.
Yeah.
Is
Warhammer.
Warhammer.
And you know
Number
what?
2 was Lord of the Rings.
Even though I love Lord of the Rings and it's a big part of my life, I'm happy with the Warhammer. It's had been such an influential part of my entire
and number
life.
4
Agree.
was Magic.
Yes, sir.
Now we're putting K West
At 5. Yeah.
Okay.
in 5.
Sorry,
So
Papa.
you have
Papa. Yeah.
yeah.
And then he's gonna like saying, what do you rate your nan?
Yeah, I know.
That's a trick question. Oh, is it?
I don't want too many of the family punchlines.
He's like, strike out.
Sorry, Nan.
All right, so number 5 on my list here is 90s movies. So like movies from your like childhood, I guess, more specifically.
Interesting.
How much it matters for you, like the stuff you used to watch. I know you have right now next to you a box of DVDs, and you mentioned a Blu-ray player.
Yeah,
So you have
yeah.
number 3 and number 6 open now.
I feel like maybe 90s wasn't influential in my time period as some later stuff. Like,
Maybe I should have said like 2000s.
yeah, I think so. That probably I can pretty steadily put it at a number 6 for the 90s movies.
All right, what if I rescind it and say 2000s movies?
Based on the fact that I've got 2 spots left, I'm still going to sit at 6.
Okay.
But I see where you're going, and it is a big thing. It's like something like Anchorman, like anybody who has me on social media, you'll see my last name is Hayo.
Yeah.
And it's not actually my last name. It's like, I grew up in the 2008. Like you shouldn't have put your first name, your names as your handles on the internet
Yeah, it's
because
like a
it's not
MySpace
safe.
thing.
Yeah, 100%. So definitely like MySpace is where I started. So I would actually go to parties and I would be recognized as Danny Hayo from MySpace because I had a massive MySpace reach here in WA at that time for people that were my age specifically. And I'd get invited to parties based on my MySpace thing, and then I'd put whoever held the party in my like top friends for the thing.
Nice.
And that all came from Anchorman. Was when Brick and the main guy go to high five after the street fight, and they say hi to each other, and that's where the entirety of my nickname came from when I was in high school. And it's the only people that still call me Hayo are like Connor's mum and like a few very much older friends who are in the army and stuff now.
Hardcore Danny Law.
Yeah, hardcore Danny Law, that is. Because most people don't even know what it is. Like, even at the point in high school, when I was at Balcatta, some of the teachers thought my last name was Hayo because all of the kids called me Hayo. And then I remember one time I got in trouble because Mrs. Kim, who was the Korean English teacher, art teacher, I answered to my name, which was Daniel Andrew, and she thought my name was Hayo, so I got told off for replying to the wrong name. I was like, that's my name.
Dude, that higher thing goes far back.
It goes
way
far back, yeah.
Jeez.
Did you use MySpace, William?
No.
Any social
You
media?
didn't use it at all?
No, MySpace. What's that place?
you have-
I didn't use MySpace.
Did you have Bebo, or was there a different, like, for
Tumblr?
Asia?
No. We do have MySpace, but I didn't use it.
Interesting.
The first one I used was Facebook.
Because a lot of friends, English friends, they had Bebo. They didn't have MySpace. And then
I skipped the whole MySpace thing because it's too much for me.
And then I don't know if it was I know like a few of my Chinese friends, they have WeChat, but I don't know if it was WeChat back then. But I think it was its own
WeChat
thing.
is new. WeChat is new.
But there was definitely like China had its own thing.
ICQ, MSN, that was it.
MSN Messenger. I used a lot of MSN Messenger.
Yeah.
Like that's the original like
That was
Snapchat effectively.
Yeah, it was go home, turn your computer
ICQ.
on, and see who's online.
Yes,
on
correct.
MSN.
Yeah.
You
Good
used to
times.
give like ICQ number and stuff.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, the big fan of the movies. I think I've discussed one on the podcast before. Like we would go, especially when Luke is like being young, we would go to the movies we'd go to every movie. You just go to the movies and see
If
what's
it
on.
wasn't Lord of the Rings or Anchorman, is there at the next top?
Yeah, definitely like Star Wars was like a big, like,
that's
you know,
a good
I
point.
watched The Phantom Menace on VCR so many times that because the VCR has like a tape in it, the tape snapped because it got run through the system so many times. Like I watched The Phantom Menace a lot. So big fan of that. Like a lot of decent stuff. And I think being ADHD, part of that is putting like something on in the back to be white noise while you do something else. Cool. So like if I was playing San Andreas, for example, I would like have another movie playing next to it.
I can speak wonders on how influential.
I will not condemn the course of action that was this and
And like back on Xbox One, you could burn a CD off of your thing onto the Xbox One, and then you could play it during games. So like for San Andreas, when you got in your car, you turn on a radio station and you could go to your CD that was playing.
Yeah.
So I had like
but only for like the console version of the game.
Yes, correct. And so when I was playing San Andreas, I burnt the Love Below speaker box Outcast album onto the thing. So then I just listened to that on repeat while like,
driving,
murdering people in San Andreas.
Are you an angel?
Very influential.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you know what? Actually, now that I look at the final one here, I don't think you'll be upset at this final
because it's going to be slotted into number 3 regardless.
Now you have to put on number 3, and that's Water Warcraft.
Yeah.
Water Warcraft number 3.
I've spent an incredible amount of Totem Warcraft, and I know you've played a lot of WoW as well, Will.
Yep.
I purchased the
most recent,
the most special edition of the new one, and I've been playing in very small snippets for like 40 minutes to an hour at 3 o'clock in the morning when I really should be at bed, right? But in between like getting home from work, doing all my paperwork, and then jumping on, and it's actually incredibly good. The new version, some of the wonder for World of Warcraft comes to me is like, I think it all started with like Age of Empires, and like that created a huge like drive for like video games moving forward, right? And
that love for fantasy has to stem from somewhere, right?
Absolutely. And like fantasy is just an extended version of like cooler real history, right?
Yeah, correct.
And I remember being a young teenager. And if anybody remembers, like Dunmorrow was like the second area once you leave the Dwarven starting area. Mm-hmm. So you leave that main area and you go through a tunnel.
William's nodding his head. He knows exactly what's
I didn't play as a dwarf. I was a night elf.
You're a night elf?
Yeah.
That was like super influential like, starting areas. But once you go through this tunnel, then you open up on like a vista, and you're standing on the top of a mountain or the side of a mountain where the tunnel opens up on. And then you have this huge extended view, and you can see across the whole next area. Plus, if you had a good graphics card, you could see you could see as far as your graphics card would allow you, right? Either the fog of war would come in closer depending on how bad your graphics is. And I had a pretty decent computer at the time because I had some friends that helped me build my own computer. And I remember walking out onto that vista and really seeing like for a super extended vision, and it was this wonder moment that has stayed with me forever that I've always tried to recapture in any game, because it was like
I'm feeling this right now because I have a similar experience.
Yeah, it was
not in World of Warcraft.
It was incredible to me how enormous this world was. Like it was you could see forever, and I'm like, it would take me an hour to walk from where I am now to where over there, like in game
it's
time.
It's the
right?
wonderment of discovering a brand new universe, because now you have the freedom to choose where you want to go, and there's all these people in this open universe.
Absolutely.
And it's your choice. Like the world is your choice, your oyster to kind of conquer.
I don't know if you like remember this, William, from the early days of Water Cup, there was like no quest help. There was no like all of the information you needed to get for the quest was like you'd have to talk to people, and then they'll talk about like there was a kind of a broken down cart, and it was to the east of the mountain, and then you just have to like fucking walk over there.
It's proper old school. It was
very old school.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was slower
raids.
as well. Yeah. Everything was slower too, so you couldn't rush to the end.
Yeah, your literally walking pace it was significantly slower.
The significance of it.
Thank goodness they have
It
mounts.
meant something to be level cap back then, right? It used to mean something to be level cap. When someone was a way higher level than you, that
it was a huge effort to get there. Yeah,
correct. So
now you can get to level cap in like 4 or 5 days, essentially. Right?
But I think there's the difference.
Or just
between,
buy.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Correct. It's the difference between modern day WoW, which is supposed to be more of like a game. You go out and you play as recreation. When original World of Warcraft was supposed to be that world.
It's a commitment.
Yeah.
It was a world for you to explore. It was a commitment for you to kind of become a character in this universe.
But like I've stood on the side of mountains in New Zealand, and incredible thing to do, but still never recaptured that moment of when I walked out of there at that tunnel as a dwarf and saw just this extended vista and how enormous this world is. And I was just blown away as a child.
What is your profession though?
Always engineer, and with mining or blacksmithing to side it up. Because when I was in Wrath and I was raiding in Wrath and doing a lot of PvP stuff, I had a fully maxed engineer and a fully maxed tailor, because with the tailor you get the flying mat, and with the engineer you get the flying helicopter. And at the time that was like fucking premium, boys. Like you were in it to win it. Like if you had those two, you could have like both of those things at the same time. But back then you didn't share mounts, so I'd have to jump on my wizard, on my mage, which had the mat, and then I'd quickly log out and log back into my engineer, who was my warrior, to show that I had both of those things to people. I'd be like, yeah, look, see, I got both.
I got a cockroach.
You got a cockroach?
The Ankirach cockroach.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, I did the quest and I got a cockroach. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got a cockroach."
Which color?
Oh, it's blue.
The green one.
Cockroach.
What you described of that classic opening up to that open world experience is so fundamental to so much of my like fondest video game memories as well.
Yeah.
For me, that experience comes from the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. When I was a young kid, I wasn't never a big MMO guy. I had to play single player role playing games. So for me, it was the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. That game starts with you in a prison, and then you finally break out of prison, and that you come out of the sewers, and then the kind of the blinding light of the sun on you in the middle of the day. You're standing across this lake, and you see some ruins in the distance, some hills, and there's no map marker for you there as well. You just come into this open fantasy world, and you're like, whoa, where do I go and how can I explore?
I like that because they said it's very similar to like essentially the exact thing as where you're walking out of like the darkness of it and into this thing. It's like you just see how big the universe is.
You're overwhelmed with a sense of wanting to explore and discover. And then next time I felt that was with Fallout New Vegas, when you come out of Doc Mitchell's home and you open the doors into the desert wasteland and you can hear the music, the sun over the desert, a tumbleweed goes across, you feel it.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I'm in this universe.
And I think the reason I mentioned all this is because the new game is a kind of a dwarven kind of setting again, and it's very much that same like rolling hills and like there's goats, like mountain goats climbing things, and very much that same. It looks fantastic, and it's the same kind of wonder of like how good that like kind of setting really looks, and it's very nostalgic to me because it draws back right to the thing that I think they're most fond of. I think so.
I can tell that World of Warcraft is influential for you because where we sit right now next to us, you have all the sets of the World of Warcraft collector's editions. Except I notice you are missing
the Pandaria. I'm missing the Pandaria one and the OG one. Because even just to buy I think I can buy a sealed version of the Pandaria for like $1,000 or $2,000 and a non-sealed one for like $150, $200.
Right.
So it's like, and that at least that box would finish the set. But to get a sealed version of the OG is like $50,000.
What?
Yeah. Like sealed where it still has the codes
This is
in
when
it.
Williams tells us that he has one.
No, I don't have one.
Did you collect?
I bought everything like online. I didn't buy boxes.
Yeah.
I just bought like the codes.
Big fan of the box because it has the. I was like at Balcata. I was an art student and I had I was like an art scholarship and I did that. Obviously big on art, and all the collected editions come with these big art books, and it shows
the best
you
part of the
best part of it has like all the sketch work through to the final product. Big fan of that. Massive fan.
I used to buy collected editions for games I was looking forward to, and I was always most looking forward to the art books.
Yeah.
Kind of dive into the progress and how they make.
I used to buy all these like collector boxes until like it's just collecting dust.
Yeah, you eventually kind of get older,
Yeah,
and the
it's
adult
like,
settles in.
I haven't really done it with much else other than the World of Warcraft stuff.
The only time that I buy like like for example the new Space Marine 2 game, right? The only thing that I buy the gold edition is because you get to play it a week earlier. That's it.
Just in time for the weekends too. How cheeky is that?
That's the only reason why I buy it. I don't buy it because of the
play Space Marine 2 in time for the weekend. You have to buy the gold edition.
You have to buy it now.
That's clever.
Sold out.
Clever.
See Sean, one of our regulars, and helps us out the shop every now and again. He bought. He took a week off work to play, and he started on Monday, thinking he was going to play from Monday all the way through, but it didn't release till today. So he's taken his week off work, starting on Monday, like this week. So he's
got
been,
1 day to play.
He's been diddling his hands, ready to go. Well, he's still got the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
The
you know what I mean?
anticipation must be crazy because we all know that feeling of being anticipated for something, to being excited for something, and it happens less and less now for me. So when it does matter, it matters more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I just because we've been watching some of the Space Marine cinematics on the computer here in the shop just recently, and tonight after Commander. And I think World of Warcraft sits in that same spot where they didn't try to go hyper realistic. So the design style and the art style and the graphics have held up a lot better and a lot longer over time because they didn't try to go hyper realistic.
That's
so
right.
they become super dated. Like they're
it's a bit cartoony.
little
still,
cartoony. The graphics are like clearly down, but it fits and suits really well for what it is. So you can go into like much older sections, and even though they've bumped it up a bit, it doesn't look out of place or anything like that as well. But then in the new setting, then like the new game, it looks incredibly good. Like the water, it's crazy because it's still a very cartoony, like lower, non-realistic
It's
graphics.
an exaggerated universe.
But then you walk through the water, and the water graphics are incredible. Like you can see your footprints in the sand in the clear water, as well as the water ripples around you and stuff like that. And then like an elemental who's very cartoony will shoot water at you, but the water's like the graphics are incredible, and it's like there's splashes off you. And
This is
shit,
World of
you're like,
Warcraft, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Quite a few people have been playing it, so it's good.
Yeah.
All right, so you finalize your list. I don't think you'll be upset at all. It was number 1, Warhammer. Number 2, Lord of the Rings. Number 3, World of Warcraft. Number 4, Magic the Gathering. Number 5, Kanye West. Number 6, movies.
Yeah, cool. I think good.
Solid
I'm
list.
okay with that.
Solid.
I'm
Pretty
glad
solid.
you didn't have to like
Nan.
Yeah, handbook me then and like put my nan in, who I love very dearly.
Did you wait? Let me ask you because do you had that in your list?
No.
Okay.
Is
I
there,
didn't
is
wanna
there more
snipe-
than 6 on there, and you
There's just
decided
six.
as you
There's
okay,
just six.
okay.
I
fair
don't want to
enough, fair
be
enough.
cheeky and chucking too
All
much.
right. Fair.
So now we have to move to William.
Is it what you expected
You know what?
of the conversations we had?
I thought maybe Magic would be higher and maybe Kanye West would be higher, but I'm not that surprised.
Well, Magic came out early, so
Yeah.
I had to temper because I didn't know what was going to come out.
Yeah,
right?
Gotcha.
And Magic's been super influential, but it's like I think one of the reasons I play that so much at the moment, not that I would play something different, it's that it's a lot. While I definitely like Warhammer more, it's much easier to sit down with like some of the boys and play one round of Commander than it is to commit 3 hours to like a game of
but
Warhammer.
Warhammer
you
was
know?
more influential. For you.
Absolutely.
So this is like your list.
The
correct?
lore part of the Warhammer is incredibly big for me. Plus, there's a video game element and the other elements of like Warhammer.
Yeah.
And like the fact that I wanted to open a shop based on the fact that I wanted to play Warhammer. And like friends
does
like
speak volumes.
Friends like Kurgan, who are from Games Workshop Junior, like I've known him since we were kids, and like that there's relationships there as well that come along with those love of those things.
Perfect. All right, William, you're up. How do you feel?
Ready.
You got a general taste of what it's like.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna start off strong.
We just rank William's kids.
He only has 2, so which one's your favorite child? All right, William.
What?
What? Are you going to answer, William?
What?
Do you have? Do you have a favorite child?
No, I don't have a favorite child.
Yeah. He's being the neutral father. All right, we're gonna start off with what you're known for right now. All right, One Piece. Where's One Piece on the list of 1 to 6 for you?
6.
Whoa,
he's going low.
Really?
It's okay. Like,
Do you do it for like more the camaraderie element?
yeah, I mean, I like it, but it's not like.
Will avid listener Nick be disappointed in your ranking?
I don't think he will. No.
nice.
Not
No, I mean, One Piece is something that I like,
Yeah.
but it's not like influential.
Okay,
right?
okay.
It's
Well,
not,
but
but
this-
this
it
change
does
my
say
life.
this
It does take you
list.
like traveling and stuff like around the country and things though.
I guess this list, what matters more is not necessarily influential.
I mean,
but
I
what
could
does it
do
matter
it
for
with
you?
Warhammer as well.
True.
Yeah.
But as just for you, like, what does it matter? Like, these things, how much does it matter for you? One
Yeah,
Piece.
correct.
When
It's
six.
a 6. Yeah, it's
Confident.
okay.
He's very confident putting it
Yeah.
there.
It's not like it's gonna kill me or anything. Yeah.
Now, he is going towards more of an idea of what I have
Right.
for you for your list. Then, second item is your old Mazda RX-8. What is it? What did the RX-8 mean for you in that 1 to 6 scale?
I'll
How
put
much
it at
did you like
3.
it? Number 3.
Ooh, nice and high.
You like that car?
If you had the money, would you go buy another one now?
Not a Mazda.
Not a Mazda?
Yeah.
Even just to have in your garage and look cool?
No.
If you-
I'll buy if I were to buy like a performance car, like I would categorize that as a performance car.
Yeah.
Like I would. Like if I have
What's your top 3 cars you'd go for?
Are we talking?
Any budget.
any budget?
Any budget?
any
That
budget.
gets dangerous.
Because mine, even though if the budget's infinite, my number 1 car is an R8 and an Audi R8. So
I'll go
I
for
don't need
Porsche.
to go. You go for a Porsche? Anything specific or just
911 turbo.
GT3 911. Yeah, that's a sexy car.
Not like a Ferrari or whatever, because it still have to be practical in a
Yeah.
way. I mean, you don't want to be uncomfortable. So anything that's like a supercar, like a Lambo, Ferrari, or an R8 is very uncomfortable.
yeah.
So like a Porsche, it's like a weekend car,
a luxury
and it's
car,
still it's not really a luxury.
It's a mix of that.
yeah, it's in the
luxury
middle
and sports.
So you still get the thrill of like a performance car, but you don't get the discomfort.
Right.
Like and the servicing is cheap, and it's just and it's
Servicing
like
is cheap.
yeah, it's cheap. It's
Yeah.
mechanical.
He's got the hookup, remember?
No, it's
Yeah.
mechanical. So there's no like a lot of
Electronic
technology
parts.
involved. Yeah,
True,
So
true.
mechanical cars are cheaper to maintain.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
less electronic components
Correct.
that can break.
So it's just very straightforward, right? So and you don't want to like have it's just practicality.
To be fair though, Porsche has always been kind of that
Yeah.
allure. Yeah.
So-
I also would really like a GT3.
It also it's classy, right? It's a classy.
Yeah.
If I don't have like there is a no maintenance cap on the car,
Sure.
like if I don't have a problem, like a BMW would be great, like an M series,
So this is your top 3.
Yeah, so like
Porsche,
a-
these are
like-
surprisingly,
like an M3.
especially the BMW
They're reasonable,
M3
right?
is very
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah. So like an M3, if I could choose, I'll go back to the older M3s, which is the 5-liter ones.
The more squarey kind
What
of
year
shape.
would you say that is?
2008? Probably 2010, 11. I think
Okay,
so.
so later.
Yeah. So like the 5-liter ones, not the new ones. Not the new ones are like turbocharged and they have a smaller engine capacity.
Yeah, some of them have like double turbos, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So they it's just more like so-called
BMW have been making a big push
carbon
into
carbon neutral
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
shit.
But BMW making recently a big push into the sports of like motor racing. So a lot of the new M series are like designed for motorsports.
So that's something that I like. The M series and I think the last probably a Skyline. I'll go for a 34.
Okay,
Nice.
34. Old school.
that's like a Fast and Furious influence right
Yeah,
there.
let's go family.
I have a few friends who are very much into their Skylines as well, and I feel bad because I'm not a very like technology, like car-y kind of guy, and I'm a very surface level. Like I like a shiny looking nice car, and but don't know much about it. And Connor, my mate, who's very much into it, who's trying to like we're good friends. He tries to talk to me about it, but I don't know what the fuck he's saying half the time. So I just like sprocket. Steering wheel.
But like I said, like all this, if there's like no budget,
My
I don't care about like the price of the car, but the character of the car is very important.
the character car is huge. That's why like my infinite budget car would be like an Aston Martin. You know, like a James Bond style classy car.
Like a Vanquish. Yeah.
When we were kids, when we play like Xbox, I'd always pick an Audi R8 on like as my car, and I was like, that's
So it goes back.
yeah. There's no real reason that I like Audis or R8s other than like my brother would pick the BMW and I would pick the R8 and Connor would pick this thing, and when we
German
play
cars.
like Need for Speed or whatever like the carring game was. Like that was the one I would pick, and it was just like not allocated to me by anyone else, but like you just pick your faction, you just like it out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you pick like an American basketball team to follow. Like you're not from that town, so you just kind of pick
You're
a
just a
team
kid,
and you
you
just go
like
with it.
Jordan, so you like Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it's kind of that.
As a child, we always be like joking about, oh man, Toyota Supras.
Yeah.
The other day, I saw a Supra like parked in the parking lot, and I was like, oh shit, it's a like old school like red Supra. I walked to the front of it, and it had a UWA student sticker on it. I'm telling you, man, these uni kids, I don't know what's
Someone with
going
the
on.
dollars.
They got some dollars, dude.
Now,
Yeah,
now
that's
you're
pretty cool.
you're classy men, both of you, right? What are your thoughts on G wagons?
I don't like it.
I mean, me neither.
I don't like it.
It looks like it's trying too hard to be an old school Jeep, but it's a Mercedes.
100%, bro.
I don't like it.
I'm proud of both.
Like
of you.
if I were to get like a
But it is a Mercedes like truck. And if you want a truck that is Mercedes, your options are kind of that or a Maybach.
I guess so.
nah, I don't want.
You know, all of the Mitsubishi trucks
I'll get a Land Cruiser, whatever.
most of the Mitsubishi trucks in Australia have Mercedes engines.
Oh,
So my Fuso Fighter 6, which was like a 6-ton flatbed, had a Mercedes engine in it. And when it was new with the turbo, it fucking moved. Like it had a higher torque than a V6 engine. So it's like it could, and it like without weight on it, the truck was only, I think maybe like 2.5 ton. So it's like it would fucking pump. Like it was actually pretty fast.
I'm fairly new to this whole like car industry thing, and I didn't realize it was so often. Like for example, the GR Supra that Toyota makes, it's a BMW engine.
it is.
And then the BRZ and the GR86s, same car. Subaru and Toyota, same car.
No. Different.
Different?
One's a Boxer. Subaru is always Boxer.
Is it?
Yeah.
Am I right in assuming that the BRZ is a all-wheel drive, or is it a rear?
You can choose.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's
The
Boxer.
Subaru has always been known for their all-wheel.
Subaru has always been like boxer engines. You know why they call Boxer, right? Because it's boxing.
Why?
The pistons.
Oh, the two
boxing.
pistons punching
Oh,
together.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's not up and down. It's
Interesting.
boxing. Yeah.
Like
Okay.
my truck
Boxer,
now is a
yeah.
UD, and UDs.
I'm not
have
sure if the
Nissan
new
engines.
models is still boxer, but I know the older ones are still boxer.
We used to drive an RX-8, and that's a rotary engine. And rotary engines are a nightmare.
True.
You just need to maintain it.
Yeah, because if it breaks, it breaks.
It doesn't break because the rotary engine is a triangle, right? So at the tip of the triangle is these blades.
It's okay.
All right. So when your engine combusts,
It spins.
No. When you combust, what's the end product? Carbon, right?
Yeah.
So what happens with the carbon if it sits on there's no piston or like a shaft in the rotor engine. So if it sits on the wall, the blade will cut through.
Oh, it scoops up the soot.
Yeah, no, not scoops. If the blade cuts into the carbon, it will like crack or blunt the blade, and that's when your engine loses compression.
Yeah.
So
because you have to maintain the air seal, right?
So if the engine loses compression, your engine.
This is also a horrible episode for anyone who doesn't understand cars at all.
So if your engine loses compression, then you lose power, right? So your compression test goes down, then your engine loses everything.
Okay.
So to mitigate this problem, you need to burn off the carbon. So how do you burn off the carbon with rotor engine is you rev like really high.
So you're encouraged to rev.
Yeah, you're encouraged to. So you go like usually when you go from traffic light to whatever, you rev to like 9K, 10K.
Holy shit, you're going up high.
So
dude.
first gear, second gear, you burn it off.
Sorry, officer. I was just clearing this carbon in my engine, I swear.
So when the guy's being a prick at the traffic lights, he's actually doing it for a reason.
No. I mean, for
that guy's in a
engine,
Holden Commodore.
So usually you do that 2 times, like once a week. It just burns off the carbon.
Yeah.
Just save your engine. Keep the engine healthy.
I know a lot of sports car like mechanics will say like you don't like people who drive it like grandma is actually worse because it will build that carbon up over time. You're best off to like clear it out. And if you drive a sports car like a grandma for a long period of time and then you punch it, that's when you see all that black shit come out the back of the car. And it's like every now and again, because I'm very much of a nanny driver because I'm used to driving the boat of a truck around, I'll do that in my car. And then when I do give it a bit of shit every now and again, like I've just got to speed up to like get onto the freeway, whatever, I'll hit it and I'll see the black cloud come out and I'm like, oh shit, I probably should have like, it's been a while since I've given it anything, you know?
So you want to burn off the carbons and keep the engine healthy, yeah.
And this entire time I thought they were being dickheads.
No. I mean, in a way, yeah. It depends on your setup too. So if you have like a straight pipe, like a no cat exhaust system, right? Then it's really loud.
Okay.
So if you have like a good system, sometimes it sounds nice. Like like a Ferrari sound, it sounds nice,
that
right?
specific high-pitched Ferrari sound.
But if you're just being a prick, then your exhaust system is a straight pipe. Then it becomes very like a whining sound. Like
So my car is a 6-liter turbo.
Yeah.
But there's no noise. It's zero noise to it. Like at the most you'll get
by design.
I assume so. Yeah, because it's supposed to be like more of like leaning towards a budget luxury car.
Yeah.
So it's like there's not supposed to be any like you.
It's still designed to be like you can drive it around on everyday roads.
Yeah.
It's muffled.
You punch it at max revs and it goes. Yeah.
But that's a very like luxury car thing to do.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be driven around like a goober.
Okay.
Correct.
So number 3, Mazda, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
RX-8. His old RX-8. His classic from his childhood street days. I looked up photos. I went back in time on your Facebook and I found photos of it, dude.
Pretty cool, right?
You had like carbon and everything on it.
Yeah,
On
full
that
carbon,
Facebook video
bro.
you get to be friends with. So.
Full carbon hood, full carbon everything.
was
Everything's
All
carbon.
right,
Street
third
boy.
thing on the list, Daniel's nan.
What? I can't put number 6 anymore.
All right. So I also going back in time for you. I also noticed number 3 on the list, cycling or bicycles.
I'll put it 4.
4.
Yeah.
So you're a big fan of the cycling then?
I love cycling.
Do you still do that currently?
I still do. Yeah.
Is that your main mode of like exercise now?
No, not really. But I enjoy cycling a lot, especially in WA.
When are we going to get the Total Magic branded spandex?
It's not spandex. It's lycra.
Can we get a cycling outfit with a little cape?
It's cycling spandex.
It's lycra.
Yeah, I like it then. Sure, yeah. What's spandex then? What is that?
I don't know spandex, but it's lycra. It's a good material. Yeah.
I like that. I see a guy like cycling down the side of the street and he's got an Eternal Magic, like jumpsuit on. I'm less likely to just instantly hate him, I guess.
And the cyclist,
As you're veering your truck closer and closer to his
it
bike.
throws like magic cards at you.
As you're veering your truck closer and closer to the cyclist, you see an Eternal Magic sticker and you veer away.
Yeah, slightly veer away. Yeah, a little bit. As a truck driver, I think I'm inherently designed to hate every cyclist that I see. Because it's.
Did you know about the 1 meter law? Right.
You're supposed to be a meter away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
that
true?
law came about after someone try to ram us off the road.
Like, I was like a
specifically?
cyclist. Yeah.
Sorry.
You? or cyclists?
No, like our whole
okay.
group. In the it's not even in the main roads. It's in the countryside.
Yeah.
So that guy was like crazy. So we put it in the video, put it in the news.
Oh, so you were actually there?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So right after that, the 1 meter law was introduced.
Interesting.
So
Because
Crazy
like
factoid.
from my point of view, right, especially out in the countryside, I think we discussed this last
You
week.
got plenty
where
of space in the countryside. Why are you trying to veer cyclists?
There's not because
There's not?
they put a lot less effort into the roads out there. So there's no curb and there's no shoulder.
okay,
I see.
So I got to defend that. So number one,
The destruction of the construction of the road, or
no,
way
that's
how
not
you
the
cycle?
road. The place is like it's not really countryside. I would say like a like in
Up in the hills, right?
Brigadoon, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
So
yeah.
it's a lot of horses there. So it's very quiet. The roads are very quiet. So we always pick roads that are really quiet. But this guy was crazy. So there's horses in front. So we're just on the road and we're trying to let the horse pass.
The horse was crossing over.
Yeah, no. Just right like the horse was
Also going along the road.
along the road. Yes, correct. We once booked the horse. This car went instead of going on the road, it went to the curb and when I don't know what it's doing. It just went to the curb and just came up on the side.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
And they're in a car with it.
yeah.
Interesting.
And it's like it also almost spooked the horse as well. So it was like a horse area. So I guess there's a lot of horses there.
Yeah, it should be driving around like a
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and that area is like very quiet. It's like 0 to 9 cars. So I mean, if you're driving there, you should expect horses as well. So you're supposed to drive slow.
more slower.
Yeah.
See, what normally happens to me is I'll come around a bend and there's 3 bikes like across the lane in the way, and I'm going like 40, 50 kilometers up a hill, and I have to slow down for the bike. And now I can't get above like 20 kilometers for the rest of that hill. So it takes me 20 minutes longer to get up that hill because I don't have the revs in my vehicle to get back up to speed now that I've dropped speed. And it makes me hate the fuck out of you.
Too bad, bro. Too bad.
What are the rules? Like, are you supposed to be in single file?
Okay. It's always safer to be in abreast.
In 2?
Yes.
Is it because people can see you better or
Correct.
something?
And it forces you to not cross. The reason why you go abreast is to force you to not cross. To cross, like to pass us.
I guess
yeah.
as a driver, you're supposed to be like, well, it's not safe to pass, so I should
Correct.
pass.
Correct. So if I'm doing single file, let's say if you're doing it in a peloton, right? So if there's 10 of us, if we're doing it in single file, it's a longer line for you to cross. So it's actually more dangerous for both of us if you're taking the time to cross 10 instead of 5.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Which is the same kind of like idea of like why cars should or shouldn't cross like longer trucks when it's out in the countryside
Correct.
as well, because
It's the same-
way more distance to be on the wrong side of the road.
Same concept, but it's just that people don't want to wait. Like, I don't want to cross like this 5 people.
Yeah.
Like instead of like, why don't you just drive?
Well, when your vehicle can do 100 kilometers and you can do 30, it can be very annoying to get stuck there doing 30 behind a bunch of bikes, right?
Understood.
So I wonder if it's more so than like the riding areas need better infrastructure for the roads.
Depends though. So like, I think like I wouldn't ride in like Hillary's where it's so
Built
the
up
traffic
and-
is so built up and the bicycle lane is so small and there's no much place to ride. I like to ride where there's less cars.
Yeah, less likely to be.
I pick places there's less cars. Simple as that. I think there's some cyclists who just don't care, but like some cyclists like, okay, I don't like to ride places where there's
Just
cars.
safer.
Yeah, just safer. Both. It's just safer for both.
As an everyday commuter,
Correct.
I actually think I'm undereducated about the cyclist laws.
Correct.
The biggest problem is when you go to get your license, you're not educated on anything. Like you're not taught anything about anything. I bet when you did your car license, you weren't taught about how to safely pass a bicyclist or how to pass a truck.
There was
And
nothing.
both of
there
those
was
are
basically nothing involving cyclists.
or like, and I assume either trucks, right?
No.
So it's like those are two very precarious situations which you will come across eventually and you should be educated on because it's easy not to hit another car. The car's in front of you, you stay behind that car. But with a truck or a bike, which you are going to be put in a position where you might want to have to pass at some point, why have you got zero training on that? The amount of people that see me coming down the street at 80 kilometers an hour and be like, oh, it's a truck, I want to get in front. So they pull out in front and then do like 60 kilometers and I have to slam on my brakes and try not to smash into the back of them. It's an incredible amount of people, like an incredible amount of people. And I'm sure maybe as a cyclist, you get similar things where people will be like, oh, well, I don't want to get stuck behind those or do this. And then that forces them into significantly more dangerous situations because they've like almost like reacted into an action that it's just basically stupid as fuck.
So when we ride a bike, right? So we are encouraged to take the road. Like if you are going into a roundabout, you go into the middle. So you stop the car. Just stop the car behind from crossing you, so they won't pass you.
Oh, I've definitely not done that before.
Nah. So that's the thing. So
I didn't know the law be with
it's not
cyclists.
law. It's just that
Common sense.
Right, it's common sense.
it's just to save
Gotcha.
us.
The other
from-
day, there was a cyclist on the middle of the road, and I just kind of scooched past him. He didn't look super amused by me, but I also have a smaller car, so I was like, I'm just going to scooch past him.
Yeah. Well, if you're like motorbikes, right? People with Harleys and Triumphs and stuff, they're very loud. So it's very easy to recognize them. But a lot of like street bikes are actually quite quiet. They can be, if you're directly behind them and you hear the rev, it's very loud, but that sound is projected backwards and pretty efficiently. So anything around them, it's hard to hear them, especially if they're coming up behind you.
Yeah.
So same thing there. The road regulations, like you should be directly in the center of the lane so the car behind you can see you. And I'm assuming the cycling must be the same thing.
You just take the road. Just force them to slow down instead of letting them have let the car
Thinking there's a
driver.
chance.
There's a thinking chance to pass.
Okay.
You don't want to give them the thing like a chance to like, oh, I could pass, and then it's so close.
I guess I'm the dickhead that just passes anyway.
Basically, well, the thing is as well, is like as a truck driver, I'm not likely to cause a crash because I'm doing it every day and I'm experienced. And you riding a bicycle every day, so like or whenever you regularly, so you're not likely to get into a bike crash by yourself. But there are a lot of shit drivers. There's a lot of people who just drive to work or like to and from work every day and not much else.
And the thing is, like, if a bike gets into like a clip, if you clip the bike, it's likely the person riding the bike will die, and the person in the car is fine.
It's absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's a very
that's the
one-sided
thing,
fight.
But that's what I think about the truck as well. Is like when people do crazy shit around me in a car, I'm like, I will fuck you up.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
The worst thing that happens to me is I have to have a conscience of murdering you and your family. Like, you know what's crazy? You know, like
It's the tram drivers in Melbourne all over again.
Yeah, all over again. You know what's super popular? Like those stickers, like baby on board stickers.
Yeah, correct.
And then I see the lady on the in front of me, like texting and driving and like swerving all over the place. And like, because as a truck driver, you at a height advantage. So quite often you can see directly down into someone's car.
That's right.
So if you're in a Tesla, I can see you watching TV. I can see you. I can see you like doing your makeup or like eating your breakfast or picking your nose.
People do that?
All
They
the
just
time.
auto drive?
All the you see the craziest shit, man. I was once at a traffic lights and there was a police bike cop and he pulled up to a lady in front of me and she was sitting there doing her makeup, like really close to the little mirror that sits down above your head.
Yeah.
And he knocked on her window. He physically knocked on her window and she was so caught up in what she was doing, she didn't notice him knocking on the window. So the bike cops turned around to the car next to him and he puts both his hands up like, oh, like what's going on? And then the guy in the car is kind of laughing. The whole time the girl is not seeing a bike cop knocking, like doing the hand movements and then she's surprised eventually when she sees him. And he's like, obviously like, pull over, you're about to get fucking fined. And like the whole thing is like, she was so oblivious to her surroundings, this girl, just like didn't see the cop, the lights, the knocking on the window. What the fuck?
I wonder if because she would have probably done her makeup in a regular car anyway, at that point, autopilot is just saving lives.
I can just say that a lot of people are on their phones.
She shouldn't,
Oh, heaps.
people like
A
who do
lot.
that probably shouldn't just be driving anyway. So maybe the robot overlords would be saving lives.
I imagine that once they finally figure it out, it'd be significantly safer. Like it's more dangerous to drive than it is to do most other things in the world. Like some of the most dangerous jobs that exist, like underground mining stuff, still has nothing anywhere close to the chance of dying as you would just driving a car on a day-to-day basis. So it's like when you do like risk assessment for just anything you do in your life, like bungee jumping or some extreme sport, still way less chance of dying than driving.
I would say like automated like driving will be safe when everybody has automated driving.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah,
like you can't have like half
and half.
half and half. Yeah.
Well, I think like when a lot of the US plan when they do implement it is to have like auto roads and then non-auto roads, and they're supposed to stick into those
Whoa,
roads.
that's got to be tricky, right?
Depends on how built up the areas are. So I'm like, when you look at like the 14-lane freeways in America, like they might have better chance.
What a nightmare.
Well, the fact that you need that, right?
All right, gentlemen, on to the next thing in the list. So we have bicycles, where you put it at number 4. Respectable. This one is going to be a little bit more from your culture. Where would you put Malaysian food?
Oh, the food angle.
Yeah, I know, right? I think you like your Malaysian food quite a bit. I see you coming through in the markets on regularly on the weekends. Number 2, Malaysian food. You're saving your number 1 spot, huh?
I'm saving number one.
Do you feel like the food part of it's like a big family thing as well, where it's like you guys, do you guys sit down? Are you a dinner table family?
Yeah.
I wish I was a dinner table family. We didn't do it as like we were like very white trashy.
Were you
where,
grab your dinner and go to the TV?
yeah, that was as kids we did. It was
No,
all TV.
no screens, no TV.
Like real Simpsons, where my parents would sit on a couch behind us, and then my brother and I would sit on the floor directly in front of them and like eat on the floor and watch the TV.
I love to eat, but like at a current stage of my life, I'm also don't like the calories.
Do you eat with your family? Do you have like dinner time?
Oh yeah, I do.
Is
So
it just saying
usually,
Malaysian food has
if
high calories?
I'm gonna like, I know I'm gonna have like a good dinner, I will like go full
Try to save for it.
like starve mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50, right? You want those quality dinner times with the family so everyone kind of sits together and chats, but it's also good memories when you can grab your food,
Yeah,
watch your
definitely.
TV and watch a show.
Yeah.
So
I guess like different types of memories are getting built in different ways, right?
there's a solid like
I like my food. Definitely like my food.
when do you think how old are you? When was the last time you had your parents bring food for you? You know what I mean? Like let's say you were like when I was a kid, I would sit in front of the TV that I had in my room, a little small.
My
CRT
mom still
TV.
brings me food.
But I'm saying like the last like this scenario of like I was a young child sitting in front of the CRT watching my cartoons in my pajamas, and my mom would come up, bring lunch.
Or probably
and
when I
walk
was
off.
like 4 years old.
Yeah.
5 years old.
There's always a last for a thing, right?
Yeah.
The last time it happened.
I do dinner with my parents and my son and stuff, and like if my brother's there, my sister's there, every Tuesday. It just depends on how many of the family members are going to be present, but we do it every Tuesday.
That's nice. It's a solid family.
But
thing. Good
if
goals.
I'm back in Malaysia, like if I'm in my mom's place, my mom would just.
Do you ever
bring
have
me
like
food,
your
yeah.
kids sitting down watching TV and you just like walk up, give them some food,
No,
walk off?
no food and TV.
Wow.
No
strict.
food on the couch
Okay.
Yeah. It's better. Like,
because I'm cleaning up. So no food on the couch.
like where I lived in the small, like with Lucas when he was growing up for the most part, when I was in the share house with the boys, we would do dinner at the table with no TV. And then, but when I was living at home, like with his mother, our house was too small and we, like the dining table really wasn't in a space we could really use it that well, but it was mostly like used for like ironing clothes. So like it's just much smaller, like apartment style living where.
So I need to tell you one thing. So in Asian culture, right, we don't like square or rectangular tables.
Yeah.
It's
Circular
all
tables
circle.
is way more desired.
It's all circle tables because our food culture is sharing. So you have, like if you go to like a Chinese restaurant, you order like
It's
dishes.
entrees.
and
Everything's
then,
entrees.
And then you have like your plate of rice. You take whatever you want, and then you can. It's all in the middle, so everybody gets to reach it.
Yeah.
Like it's not. You can't do that on a square table or a rectangular table.
My parents had that a lot when they were trying to find like a circular table for the house, but there's not many good circular table options out there.
Yeah, I managed to find one. Like, yeah, I managed to.
Correct. It comes to that, like everyone sits together at the table and everyone
Yeah.
shares meals.
I do like the camaraderie part of that as well, where you sit down and like even the sharing of the food creates more conversation as you like pass things around and like those
Because
kind of things.
chopsticks come from that culture as well, of like everyone has a chopstick, which is effectively just tongs, right? So everyone has tongs to grab what they need
True.
and they eat.
Yes.
Every time I try to, because like I like the concept of using it, and Nem's really put me onto like if you use chopsticks, you eat slightly slower, so then you have more time to
No.
like digest your
No,
food.
you do. You
not
You
really.
can't- like a spoon is like you put a
You like
mouthful
you
in.
shovel it.
No,
in.
bro. Have you not seen the proper way
Yes,
to eat
so-
rice?
Yeah, but you don't have to eat that way. What I'm trying to say is when you because if you're not eating rice, let's say you're eating your veggies or your protein, you're grabbing bite. by bite.
Okay. Let me just.
And if you're also bad at it, like me, you're definitely eating small. Like I can't pick up more than one piece of rice at a time.
you know, right? How to do it?
That's hard.
I'm not. It's real. No, it's like it's because like most of it's fallen
Okay,
off.
you
my
know
tongue
how to
into
do
my
it,
mouth.
right? So they put
Yeah, yeah,
everything
yeah,
in a
yeah,
bowl. Okay,
you
this
lift it up to your mouth.
lift up to your mouth and you just
You scoop it in.
do that. Yeah.
I don't have that skill. I have
That's what I do.
every time we go to like a Asian restaurant where I have to
Sorry,
like use
for
chopsticks.
you listeners out there, I just took like the chopsticks and just push food from the bowl to
Yeah.
the mouth like quickly.
Because normally the rice is in a smaller bowl.
Yeah.
So you can actually fit it in your hand and you can lift it with you up.
You always hold the bowl
I get it now.
and then you eat and you put in the bowl.
well, I have a
then you just do
YouTube video
this.
saved on a tab on my phone, so that every time I need to use chopsticks, I can quickly watch that in my pocket, like under the table, so I can remind myself to do it because I'm really bad at it. But it's a skill that I wish I had.
You can learn it.
Haven't-
Still can learn it.
I've learned it multiple
I
times.
just use the kids version.
What's the kids' version?
We have like the elastic
this-
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
the back.
Lucas, I remember it was a Angry Birds, but you know the pigs?
Yeah.
It was an Angry Birds pig,
Oh, sick.
a little rubber thing that sits on the end of both of the feet, and then you just click it together.
It works.
It's a universal tool.
Yeah, it works.
All right. So we have Malaysian food at number 2. You're saving your number 1 spot. I
And
like
number
it, I like
5.
it. And number
So,
5. So
like,
we have
no-
1 and 5 now
Yeah.
for your spots. All right. Number second last on the list here is Marvel movies or just Marvel in general.
Oh, that's easy. That's number 5.
Oh, I thought you were a big Marvel head.
I am, but I don't die for it.
I guess he's got to compare it to food now.
I guess, yeah. So Marvel's higher than One Piece card game, but it's below bikes.
Are you excited for the revamp of the Marvel that it appears to be happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm keen.
I thought it was I thought it was a big one for you because you have like statues and Doctor Doom.
I
and,
do.
like,
I do love it. But like I said, it's not life changing. It's not really
I
life
guess
changing.
my question is if you had to place Marvel or Warhammer, would
Oh,
Warhammer?
Warhammer. Warhammer's been with me since I was 5.
So Warhammer's more okay.
Like Danny.
William and I met through Warhammer.
Yeah. So it's like an influence thing too. Like Warhammer is like, I think if you give me Warhammer right now, it's going to be number 1.
So
Same
I
thing with
gave
Danny.
because I gave Danny Warhammer. I didn't want to give you Warhammer.
Do you know when I met William? It was at Warhammer Joondalup, and we were playing Warcry. We were only 2 guys rocking up to play Warcry with each other. And I thought William was like 10 years younger than me.
Oi. We went through because I went through your Facebook to try to find things for the list. I scrolled to a photo from 2010. You look the same, man. A 15-year-old photo of you
We did
looks the
notice that your
same.
haircut was slightly different though.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
but
Nothing has changed, William.
So-
What's your secret?
so Warhammer to me, because I was like 5 years old or 6 years old, I walked into like something like Nolan Boards ish store, right? And it had like if you
Malaysia.
remember like in Malaysia, yeah. So if you have remember those mats,
The
table
green
mats?
flock?
Yeah, green flock mats.
green flock mat.
And then there's no terrains on it, and then people playing Warhammer also.
If you're a younger person, you're listening to the podcast, go back and look at Warhammer kits from like the late 90s, all the boxes, and all the boxes it's like a Space Marine, but the pictures on the front of the box is a green flock mat with these like little palm tree kind of
Correct.
things, and they were printed in like a light green, a dark green, and maybe one other color. I'm colorblind, so I can't remember. But didn't matter if it was a tank, if it was a knight, if it was a Lord of the Rings model.
Everything's
they were all
saved.
put on a green flock mat. And in front of these little like trees, and it was like everything was done on that, and it was like that green flock mat is like it's such a nostalgia kick. You're like, ooh.
You can almost smell it.
When I opened up the shop, and we obviously got the neoprene mats that was, they attract less like dirt and bugs and skin and
Boy,
grossness.
we should get a green flock mat for Warhammer fans.
Well, that's what I originally I was going to do that as almost like a nostalgia kick of
you just
what
have to go
Northern
get
Boards is.
green felt,
The
right?
problem is they're horrific.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
they gather skin and hair and dust.
Ooh, okay,
liquid will go straight through them to the wood underneath.
Ooh.
And they just constantly shed.
Yes.
So the green flock just goes
Everywhere.
everywhere. Like we vacuum and clean the mats here, the neoprenes, and neoprene itself is much more like hyperallergenic within itself because of its own product. But those green flock mats aren't. So if I vacuumed one of those, it would just pull off half of the flock and
it's shit.
but the thought of it, incredible. Like, we've got display cabinets. I thought about getting one
yeah.
and cutting it up and then
I like
putting
that.
a little
Yeah.
hill underneath
That's
it or
right.
something so that you could visibly see
I think
part of the thing.
for display purposes, it's fine. For play purposes, no.
Yeah,
Heck
shocking.
no.
Yeah.
Heck no.
It really contributes to the vibrancy of everything in the 80s and 90s was just crazy colorful.
Yeah. I always think of like when I think of Warhammer, I think back to the monopose Terminators on the green flock mat. Yes, yeah. William did like a little thing where he put 2 fists on either side of his body, like because it was holding what's the Gatling gun thing called? Like the lightning
Assault
cannon.
cannon.
Assault cannon. It was a fist down and then assault cannon out.
Correct.
And it's like just all 4 models
Power
or 5
fist.
models, the exact same, just on the front of that photo. Oh, so-
No. One guy who has a cross on his
Sorry.
back.
Yeah, I forgot
That's
that.
a banner.
Yeah, the banner guy.
Which you need the white dwarf to put it on.
Yeah, you get the white dwarfs with like little punch
You
out
gotta cut
flags.
out, yeah.
I think that Warhammer 40k having green flock everywhere came from that. Back then, there was only fantasy versions
It
of
all-
tabletop
it
games.
all came from
And they
fantasy.
were
Yeah.
like, well, everyone had green grass. We're not going to...
Yeah, like you'd see Space Marines and stuff like that on Elder, and they'd have green flock bases
Yeah,
as
and
well.
it's why there's like
but-
trees in the background of photos and stuff. 'cause No
everyone-
one had fancy sci-fi. to
Warhammer
it.
has been a really big like influence for me. Huge. Even bigger. Like it's huge.
Yeah.
It's funny because Danny put Warhammer number 1 as well, and you also were saying that you might
Yeah,
put Warhammer
I will
number
put
1.
I will put
So
Warhammer
for
number
both
1,
of
yeah.
you guys, Warhammer was really influential.
Because it has been with me since I was like really young.
Who took you to that shop then? Like, if
No,
you-
my parents like it's like a when you're young, if you always go to this same shopping mall, right? And then that shopping mall is the place that my parents always go every weekend. Like it's the place where we hang out. It's just nearby our house.
Yep.
You know, it's like somewhere like if you go to like what's it called? What's a small shops near your house? What's it?
We'll say that like a complex or something.
Yeah, correct. Something like that. And there's a hobby store there. And then every time when we go there, I'll go to the hobby store and look at the miniatures, painted minis, and like I could only see it because I can't buy it. You know, things like that.
This is a bit like the Morley Galleria.
Yes.
So here
Correct.
we have a place called the Morley Galleria.
Yes, exactly.
Where there used to be, there's not anymore recently, they moved, but there used to be the Games Workshop there.
Yes.
And on the second floor. And Morley Galleria always felt like that old school style of Australian mall. All the architecture.
And if you go there now, it is still the exact same. It's missing a bunch of the shops, but it looks the same.
It was almost a little bit saddening because recently I went through, because I was in the area, and almost everything's gone. It's closed up. It's real quiet.
They
now.
want to revamp the place.
They should because
No. It's not. They should. They want to.
Yeah.
So the problem is it's half and half owned. Yeah. So that's the problem. One half didn't want to revamp. The other half wants to revamp.
Seems silly because almost every shopping center now has been making a big push to get newer.
Do you know Hillary's is the same thing?
Is it?
Hillary's is broken up into 3 different sectors.
What a nightmare.
Yeah. And one of the sectors, that's why you know how there's a second bridge there now? Because one of the sectors, they had a big disagreement, and the third sector where like the pub is, they were like, the middle sector was like, we'll just cut you off.
Yeah.
Like we'll just like, if we wanted to build a wall here, we could build a wall here, and that whole extra bit at the end couldn't get you couldn't walk through to it. So they went and built that second bridge there, so that at least if they had a big dispute and the middle section walled them off, that they could still get to their whole
Wow,
section.
the middle section has such power.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. Definitely Warhammer is going to be my number one because it's such a influence in my early stage of life, mid, and then current.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but obviously I didn't put Warhammer on your list now, so which means you have your number one spot.
But before we get to your number one, if you could swap anything out for Warhammer, which would you bump?
Number one.
No. Which of the things
Currently
you've
you have
currently
Malaysian
got?
food at number 2.
Oh, okay. I'll take a One Piece.
Take out One Piece?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Take that, Nick.
I mean, it's important, but it's not like crazy.
What I'm hearing is that you
influence.
should start converting some of your teams from One Piece over to play Warhammer with us.
I don't think
Wait,
so.
wait.
Yeah, it's too hard.
I reckon if
Warhammer is like, you need commitment. Like,
Yeah.
heck commitment. Hell commitment.
it's a life.
Callan, who's
style.
one of the
And it doesn't pay well.
true,
you spend a lot of money, but it doesn't pay well.
Callan, who's one of the Patreons, he came up to the other day. He's thinking about he's like, should I buy an AOS rulebook or a 40k rulebook?
Ooh, Callum wants to play a bit of tabletop.
Yeah, and I was
Hey.
like, well, how about I raise you that and you play fantasy with us, matey? Do you want to waste more time and money?
The great news about Warhammer right now is you're really spoiled for choice.
Firing on all cannons, all of the systems. Like
That's
even
right.
Lord of the Rings having some incredible stuff brought out recently. Like if you're listening to this and you're a Magic guy or a One Piece guy and you're like, the Warhammer, not things we're jargoning on about, is really boring you. Just commit to just a tiny little bit of it. Like check out their their videos
Watch some
online.
videos. Play the game, the new Space Marine game.
Yeah,
coming
the new
out.
Space Marine game.
Space Marine.
Like
I'm supposed to play it right now,
Any
but
of the-
I'm doing the podcast, so you guys better listen and sign up for Platinum.
like any of that content is incredible. Like it's so much of the Warhammer lore and story and background and history is just incredibly built out. And it's like, even though I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan, I've read the book every year since I've been alive. It still doesn't touch on like 40k lore. 40k lore is insane. And like my personal favorite is like the Warhammer fantasy stuff. Is it as like
And Warhammer Fantasy lore is even more insane.
Yeah, there is like the D&D books that we hopefully will get back to at some point, like all that stuff. Like just the amount of novels. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of novels. And like I love Lord of the Rings, but there's 4 books. And the Silmarillion, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's like there's 4 books and then like a history lesson effectively.
The depth can only go so far.
Exactly.
True.
But with the Warhammer, like there's just so much there. And there's
More
if you-
pew-pew.
If you look at your like audiobooks, for example, there's like 3 books released a day. Like they're gunning them out. And not everything's a hit. Like not everything is a hit.
It's machine gunning.
Yeah, but there is but even though not everything's
Hitting
a hit,
it on a 4+.
yeah, but there's still a lot of fucking like 10 out of 10 books that gets released on a daily basis for Warhammer.
I feel like right now, hobby, especially for us recently, hobby's been in a really good spot. Magic the Gathering seems to be hitting a new stride. Warhammer seems to be in a strong stride right now. It's not a bad time to be playing
Absolutely.
hobby. Yeah. All right. So William, we have your final number one spot, and this is an interesting one.
Okay.
Because I also think, just like Danny's list, not too bad. I think your list is not too bad. The final one I was going to give you was Your Children.
Oh, that's fine. Number one is good.
Was it actually the number one?
Yeah.
Was it actually the number one?
The final one on the list was William's Children. I was going to put a gimme. I was going to get you. I was going to try to get you.
Yeah, my kids are good.
All right. So you have Your Children at number one, which is very respectable of you as a father.
If you've ever been around the club and met William's children, it's incredible to see two small children so incredibly well behaved and smart. So I'm a big fan of Your Children.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think your children will end up being my child's tutor.
Yeah, but yeah, the list is pretty good.
Yeah.
I agree.
So William
I agree.
loves his kids. How
I
about
love my
that?
kids. Yeah, definitely.
So we have number one, Your Children. Number two, Malaysian food. Number three, Your RX-8. Number four, bicycles. Number five, Marvel. And number six, One Piece card game.
Okay, if you put the Marvel, right? If you replace it with toys,
Oh,
true.
I'm so silly. We had the whole episode about toys.
I'm a big fan of toys, not Marvel.
So where would you put toys on the list, for example?
I'll put probably 3.
All right.
I'll push.
He bumps in at 0.5.
Yeah, I
He's
love
like,
my toys.
I might like toys more than my children.
How mad would you have been if you'd slotted in your number one with something else and then Kane came in with your kids right at the end? Like if your kids, if you had to put a list out onto the internet,
Imagine
as your
if
kids
kids
is number
were
3.
below RX-8.
No, I think the thing that he brought up, like I could instantly decide. Like it's very easy to decide like what influence it has been in my life. Like things like that. But based on influence. If you put like Warhammer first, I'll probably put it first. Still number one.
Okay.
Because it has influenced me throughout my life.
Yeah,
Probably my
yeah.
kids come second because Warhammer influenced my life. You see?
True.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, it's not that I don't love my kids, but it has influenced my entire life, though. My kids influence my current life.
What's funny, I wonder how much of that is like, well, like if you're rather than your kids, it's your parents that influence you, and then you're an influence on your kids, so it's like a slightly different thing, right?
Correct.
Honestly, guys, you guys have solid lists. I actually really get it. This is good.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys.
The fact that you created them is quite helpful as
Yeah.
well. Now, William, do we know enough about Kang to give him 6 things? Could you?
Quick one.
Can we slot it in the final few minutes of the episode,
All right.
or should we save it?
Yeah,
for
should we make one on the
Yeah.
spot?
No,
All
let's make it. Okay. I'll you pick 3, I'll pick 3, all right? So we go one each first.
right.
All right.
Okay.
Watches.
Watches, 6.
6?
It's a fun hobby. Don't care.
Okay.
It's a fun hobby, but ultimately it doesn't change my life.
Hip hop.
Ooh.
It's big because you're a big music guy.
Yeah.
Big music guy.
It's a big music guy. It's a big portion of the music I listen to, but I listen to a lot of music, and I think influential.
Would you prefer I said music or hip hop? Because I wouldn't put another music in. So would you prefer?
If it was music, it would be a solid like 2, maybe
Ooh.
1. Hip hop, I would have to say 3. Because actually before I listened to hip hop, I was listening to a lot more different genres. I think hip hop is what I eventually settled on as like my comfort pick. But when I was young, I'm one of those people where when I say I listen to all genres, or whenever you pick up the aux chord and you're like, hey, what do you listen to? I'm okay with you putting on anything, because I will listen to anything, and I can enjoy almost any genre of music.
The handstands on
All right. Art.
What do you mean by art? Just art in
Like
general?
art, like you like eccentric art,
Okay,
stuff like
if
that.
hip hop is the number 3, then
No,
art's
no,
number 2.
like yeah, okay.
Art will be number 2. Art is a huge one in my life. I used to be quite artistic when I was young. Like I said, when I was in high school, I studied art. So I actually part of my ATAR was art when I was studying it when I was young. So which is really funny because you talk about going for an art scholarship when you were young, Danny.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, I did 3 years of art essentially. I did all the mediums.
You know, the girls that come through on a Saturday night that play the board games,
Yeah.
they're all actually at Balcata doing that art program. Or they've just
What a
either just
coincidence.
graduated or still there doing it now.
Nice,
Wow,
nice.
what a crazy
It's,
coincidence.
it's funny to talk to them about which teachers are still there with a more than a 10-year gap between me and those girls that come in and play those games.
Proper long service.
Yeah, there's still a few teachers there that are the same. And you're like,
Hey,
because they were there.
Write it down.
Okay. Whoa.
So now it's Danny's turn again.
All right.
Well, okay, so hold on. Going back to art as well. I did 3 years of art. I did all the mediums, sketching.
So it's
and all
2,
that sort of
right?
stuff. So
Art?
for me, art is massive, and art is huge. Yeah. So.
Okay, 2, and then watches number 6, and then music is number 3.
Well, no, we had hip hop in number 3.
Okay, hip hop.
Yeah. Or sure, hip hop / music. We'll do that.
Okay.
And number 5, number
watches.
6 was watches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
D&D.
5. Dungeons and Dragons was like
Because I know you said you did a lot of DMing for
Correct.
a long time, right?
correct. I think
Am I off the mark on that one?
yeah, I did DM for quite a long time. I think Dungeons and Dragons really kind of was a huge part of me getting into hobbying in general and how I discovered a lot of this community of things. But I've fallen off it a lot recently because I don't have the time for it. And as much as I love that role playing and fantasy universe side of things, I think it's I think the influence is worn off.
Okay.
So, interesting.
I will put Dungeons and Dragons at 5.
Food.
Ooh, number 1. Food is 1. Food is number 1.
Okay.
I love food, and for me, culinary is a huge part of my life.
Without like no gout.
Yeah, I'm real sad because I love food so much. I have gout. Cool.
Now it's part of the puzzle where he has to like find food he likes, but it isn't going to flare up the gout. It adds an element of like texture
Discovery and risk. Ooh, if I have that,
risk.
if I have that, shrimp,
It's like playing D&D.
My feet might hurt.
So I've got the last pick, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to go automatically into number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hentai porn. Write it down. I was gonna go with like racing or like sim racing or
Wait,
something.
this is the
but-
hell gimme. What a gimme, huh? All right. So my list is, gentlemen, all right, and the final sign out of the 1 hour 30. Thank you for being here.
Did we hit one? Wait, Russ was really impressed that we was like, "Do you guys have a timer? You guys always get to about 1:30." I'm like, "Yeah."
It better be 1 hour 30 because I need to edit these. All right. Final list before the signing out. We have number 1, food. Number 2, number 3, music. Number 4, hentai. Number 5, Dungeons and Dragons. And number 6, watches. Thank you very much for tuning into
How
this tier
disappointed
list.
in your list are? I'll believe it.
You know what? I'm not.
Hold on. Before we end, I want to thank our sponsors, Imperial Numismatic.
He did it.
So proud of you.
You could pronounce it.
I am
Big,
Thank you very
big thank you to Johnny Coins. Actually, he's bought the expert badge. So for the winner of Highlander this weekend,
Yeah, this weekend he's bought some prizes for us.
you're gonna get an expert badge, so that when you win, you can prove to all your friends and family,
Nice.
and your nans that you're the expert Magic player.
nice.
If this was 2010 and you guys had MySpace pages, I think you guys can be happy to have your tier list on your MySpace page. I don't think I'll put this tier list on my MySpace page.
Right.
Not in your top 10 friends?
He's,
Not in my
he's
top 10
rapping right now.
friends.
Kang's rapping.
So
Mom.
thank you very much for this tier list
Sign up
episode.
for platinum.
Thank you very much, guys. Hope you enjoy. Let us know what your guys' tier list might be, or how do you guys feel about our tier lists. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Send us your list and I'll rate them.
Have a good one, guys. Take care.